going on, guys? Thanks for tuning into my channel again today. What we're going to be going through is we're going to be touching on episode number 5 of our data analyst interview prep series. So again, here in ChatGPT, we're going to do the same deal. Today, what we're going to focus on is some higher level questions in a data analyst interview. And we're just going to see how we go here. Okay, so there's no prep on my end. This is just off the cuff. This is me raw, as you know how I would be if somebody started throwing questions like this to me on the street. So whatever my responses are here, you'll see kind of where I'm at. Okay, there's no prompts or anything like that. Okay, so I'm going to say, can you please um, provide me with some mock high level data analyst interview questions that I may get asked for a role paying 150 to 200K AUD. Yeah, here we go. So straight away, we've got our technical questions here. So can you walk us through your process for implementing a business intelligence tool, Power BI, in a company? What challenges did you encounter and how did you address them? Okay, so straight away, I'm going to type my answers in here today, just because, just to sort of, in the interest of time, I might even be able to just talk these in here, and then come back to this because that might just be a little bit faster. So can you walk us through your process for implementing a business intelligence tool? Um, okay, so I'm going to go here, continue. Okay, start new chat. Okay, so I'm just going to load the microphone here. Okay, so to answer the question, Pat, basically a time where I had to implement Power BI in a company. The last company that I worked at, we had a whole lot of the business was a surveying-based seismic business that were looking to provide seismic surveying across Australia. And what I did to um, implement Power BI was I went and found all the leases for all the different sites that all the different operators or big mining companies had across Australia. I retrieved external-based data from sites like SA Rig, government-based websites for each state and territory to determine historically what operators had sort of completed work on that particular area in the past and what sort of seismic work had been done. I then, after I collected all the data, I collated it both with the internal data source with Salesforce, in addition to the external data sources such as GP Info, as I mentioned, SA Rig, and a range of other government uh, data sets to formulate relationships to work out what seismic work had been performed on which lease throughout Australia and what leases were currently available or had come up again for another operator to then determine what work the business has for the future. I used things such as Power Query, um, DAX, and in addition to schemas, as mentioned before, to try and automate this data process as much as possible. However, I was restricted because the business didn't have an efficient SQL server, so I couldn't get a pipeline from those data sources into the business's SQL server straight to Power BI. However, I could go Salesforce to Power BI and then go the other data sets that were extracted from the sites into Excel and then automate it all together. Okay. And voice chat has sort of entered there. Basically, AI came back to me and said, how did I find integrating all the data in Excel? Um, so I can then come over here back to use voice mode again. What I found with integrating the data in Excel was I found that it was so basically maintaining schema updates to the system was quite challenging because you don't have that automation that you would have um, or on a scheduled refresh. However, I still set up a scheduled refresh based on connection to the Excel document where all those data sets were. But the manual process I had to do was I had to keep going back into the data sets on um, the data sets from the different websites to retrieve that data and then do merge and appends in Power Query to keep that Excel data set up to date. So then that would, and then refresh the Power BI dashboard so the executives would have the report within the tools and resources available at the time. However, because the chief technology officer was not open to it wasn't open to moving forwards in the API end or setting up data warehouses or data lakes or anything like that to further streamline the pipeline of the business. That was all raised on how to sort of connect on my end to how to connect from the SQL based database um, to the Power BI and then get all the data from our SQL server to the government SQL server, for example. Could we get approval there so we would get um, automation through when they get an update, our server gets updated and that feeds into Power BI in our dashboard. So we have automatic updates and an automated streamlined process. However, the business wasn't open to doing that. Change that approach, I guess, because change management's always a hard piece in business, and if you're trying to get organizational buy-in, that is probably one of the key things you need to be able to do before you start to move new processes forwards in a business. Because if the executives or the people running the company, um, directors don't have buy-in with what you're trying to do in terms of streamlining and automating your processes, then you can only do so much, and you can do workarounds to try and automate pieces with Power Query and with Excel. But at the end of the day, Excel's not a database. You need a SQL server or another type of server, whether it's PostgreSQL or Microsoft SQL Server or the Google Cloud Platform. You need that server for data integration that then allows you to streamline into other business intelligence tools to create storytelling within your data to the business stakeholders that you're dealing with. The opportunity to be able to find that balance where I can build trust within the team, try and hone my leadership skills and build relationships with people throughout the organization so that they trust me and they can sort of see that I have uh, the right skills to make a difference in the business before then, and letting some time pass before then pushing changes and automation within the business to ensure that all stakeholders and parties are happy with those changes. So leadership strategies, what I'm looking to develop is I'm looking to develop uh, sort of good sort of bonds with the people within the organization. I want to be a leader that shows care, shows interest, shows empathy um, for employees. I want to be someone who empowers other people to get the best out of themselves, who motivates others to want to get better and sort of try and enjoy their work and take pride in their work as much as possible. I want to be that leader that um, helps lift others up and grow and develop their skill set as opposed to being overly critical with those individuals that are trying their best, but may not be getting the results. So I guess I'll be taking I guess a conscientious sort of approach. So I'm very much a conscientious person. So I'm a very much a structured based leader. But at the same time, I do try to find it within myself to find the patience with other people who may not be as structured and who may not make decisions or work as quickly as I do. My personality type, ENTJ, I'm very much like to make a quick call, get it done, move on to the next thing, and my mind doesn't stop ticking. I'm very goal orientated. I like to, hit a goal, hit a target as quickly as possible, reset, go again, and just keep building up. Whereas some people are a little bit more go with the flow. So trying to work with those people to sort of try and find that middle ground where we can all work together. That's my style as a leader. So, guys, what I'm going to do now, you didn't really get to see um, hear probably some of what they were sort of asking me in terms of questions there. So we can now go back and have a look. You'd need another recording application, or I'd have to overlay that. But basically, it sort of asked me a question, I answered it, and you can sort of see here what the questions were. And then, yeah, you obviously heard what my answers are. Um, so, I basically sort of said that, I used Power Query as a workaround because the business didn't have a SQL server, efficient SQL server that was consistent with Power BI and or a SQL server with all the data sets required. And they didn't have an efficient pipeline. So I had to extract the data manually, store it in Excel and use Power Query or use Power Query to clean it, and then um, you know model it on Excel to begin with, and then I implemented Power BI, which I then had to extract the data and then build sort of a big data sets and connect data workbooks on Excel, and then sort of streamline that straight into Power BI, in addition with the Salesforce data that was coming from somewhere else. Um, so I tried to automate the process, and then it sort of talked about APIs and data lakes and was the business open to that? And I said, no, they weren't open to doing that in this sort of instance or scenario. So that was the best that I could do. Um, and then down here, they sort of said it must be frustrating how much efficiency and reliability those solutions could bring. I answered. Um, and then down here, it says you've nailed a key insight. Their organizational buy-in is often the make or break factor for implementing effective data solutions. It sounds like you've developed a strong understanding of balancing technical expertise with stakeholder management. Have you had the chance to apply this approach in another role since? I said, no, that was the last role, but I sort of went into a bit of detail here. And then they said, okay, that's a great mindset. Building trust and relationships first can make all the difference when it comes to introducing change. It sounds like you're focused on taking a collaborative approach while showcasing your value through your skills. What kind of leadership qualities or strategies are you looking to develop further in this role? And then I went through with the response there with what my leadership style is. And then it sort of says you're aiming to be a balanced leader, someone who leverages their structured, goal orientated mindset while fostering collaboration and understanding across different working styles. That mix of drive and empathy can really inspire teams. Have you had any specific moments in past roles where you've been successfully brought out the best in someone? And then I sort of just left it there. But I could give more examples. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say, based on the above answers, how did I perform um, for a high level data analyst role? Okay, so it's coming back now, giving me, how I performed here. Um, so it says you perform strongly for a high-level data analyst role, particularly for one that values leadership, stakeholder engagement, and technical expertise. Here's an assessment of your performance based on your responses. So I can sort of see my strengths again here. Okay, so technical expertise, your hands-on experience with Power BI, Power Query, DAX, and Excel demonstrates strong technical skills, particularly in building BI dashboards and managing the ETL processes, extract, transform, and load. You've clearly articulated your understanding of data integration challenges and proposed robust solutions such as SQL to SQL pipelines and API automation, which highlights your forward thinking and practical problem solving abilities. Stakeholder management, you understand the importance of organizational buy-in and change management, which shows a high level of emotional intelligence and strategic thinking. This is quite interesting. You're really sort of looking at breaking down of what is your personality type like and what you need to sort of be aiming as a good cultural fit for you, and what you can probably need to strengthen on, and what sort of type of individual and what best version of yourself you need to be in a business to really thrive here. So it sort of talks about willingness to build trust in organizations, leadership potential. It says your focus on empowering, motivating others combined with a structured, conscientious approach indicates strong leadership traits. Um, you're self-aware about balancing your goal-orientated ENTJ personality with the needs of more flexible team members, which shows adaptability and maturity. Strategic vision, you emphasize using data storytelling to create meaningful insights for stakeholders, showcasing your ability to align technical outputs with business needs. Your desire to foster a data-driven culture and streamline processes aligns well with the strategic goals of a senior analyst role. Okay. Um, and then here we got areas for growth. So these are the bits that I actually probably need to get a little bit better with. And I'm actually aware that I need to get better in these areas, and it's crazy that it picks it up. It's in my responses. So it says here, while I have great ideas for automation and integration, you've mainly worked within limitations, demonstrating hands-on experience with fully automated systems, APIs, SQL Server pipelines, or cloud data warehouses would further strengthen your technical profile. So I now know that, for the next job that I'm looking for, that's something where I need to get a little bit better and a little bit more experience over the next couple of years just to get better. And AI with this in the future is going to be red hot in this field. So that tells me what the next step is and what I really need to sort of focus on. Industry specific expertise, tailoring examples of your work to directly address the specific needs or challenges of the prospective company. Sector specific data challenges would show how you can bring immediate value. So straight away, I'm looking at just trying to work on sector specific examples. That's okay. Data science and advanced analytics, or examples using Python, R, or machine learning for predictive analytics could strengthen your case for roles that require advanced analytics. Okay, so if I'm sitting more of a data scientist interview, or a high level data analyst interview, that's really critical there, showing that you have some understanding there of more advanced statistics and machine learning, because that's the foundation of AI. Those models are built through Python code. So learning how to code in Python is going to be beneficial, even if it's just like you understand all the different libraries and you can write a couple of lines of code and use Python to do t-tests and z-tests to do different forms of predictive analytics. That's going to help strengthen your overall employment there. So sort of said, I've demonstrated strong technical foundation in data analysis and BI tools, a deep understanding of organizational dynamics and the need for stakeholder alignment, leadership potential with a clear focus on team empowerment and collaboration. And then it sort of says that I'm well suited to a high level data analyst role. And then, yeah, so that's cool. So you kind of you then know, okay, well, that's what I need to do to get a role like that. Okay. So hopefully that helps some people. You can always cater it to, yourself. I know this is very much me focused. It's a bit hard to sort of just do a random resume and do a random kind of example. But what the main goal of this video is to focus on, um, yourself and uh, uploading your own personal resume, and then going down here and asking, speaking with AI, and going through interview-based practice questions to keep strengthening yourself as an individual and giving yourself that uh, best possible chance of success in your career. Thanks for tuning in today, guys, and hit that subscribe button if you like the video. Take care.